Hi guys, welcome back to another P3D version 5 video. We are today flying something a bit different, the Swissmilsim De Havilland Vampire, the DH-100 MK6 version to be exact. And I'll show you actually on Sim Market which one. I got basically all of their aircrafts because they were on sale for like 90%, so I thought it was time to get it, but it's basically these, the P3D version 5 models. They have the version 4 as well. I also got the Moran, works in P3D version 5, not as kind of high or high quality. You can see the inside. It's almost a freeware, but it's pretty. I mean, otherwise it seemed pretty fun to fly. But I'm now flying the MK6. They also have the original one. So if you want to fly some other air forces, and they have a bit of a different setup in the cockpit, and then you have the Venom, the 112, which is I think a bit bigger maybe, and looks a bit different. They don't have, I think, the Night Fighter version, that's the 113, and then the trainer version 115. There is actually, funnily enough, another developer which I haven't yet bought the aircraft from, but I'm thinking of buying it because it looks a bit cool. It's the Venom one, and it has a pretty nice cockpit. You know, some nice features. I think he says here though it's not for the ones that like very beautiful exterior model. It's more about the the flying experience. So I've been thinking of getting this one as well if it ever comes on sale. But yeah, one great thing with Swiss Milsim is that they also provide some freeware scenery. One of them you have to get a code, but I just emailed them and we're like, hey, I bought all of your products on sale. Would it be possible for me to get this freeware one? I think it was for an older add-on, which isn't, at least not any longer in or for sale. So I think that's why you have to kind of email them. That's the only option. And that was for a scenery called, let me check actually, I think I wrote them down because I like to keep track on my freeware and payware airports in P3D. Don't have to do that in X-Plane because I don't have that many. Or I do that, but I don't have to do it to the same extent. But yeah, here they are. So they have Payern, LSMP, Ulrichen, LSMC, which is the one we're at now. It shut down in 1999, so it's no longer in use, but it used to be a pretty big airport for the Vampire. And then Dubendorf, LSMD. And the cool thing with Payern and Dubendorf is that they have this cool system for approaches. Let me just check if I can find it here in the manual. I'm gonna try to do it. It's not the end of the world if I don't manage to do it, because when I fly military it's more for fun. But here it is. So you have this cool kind of approach system, GSA approach. So you have these call outs. You're first supposed to connect to the NAFU and then to the GSA, the approach. And I'll try to do it, but you're basically gonna get these call outs, right? Okay, kilometers from touchdown, heading, gear down, flaps, blah 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 blah, yada yada. And then above glide path, below glide path. So pretty dope, at least if you ask me. And let me see what this I can close. And I have the other one still open. That's good. So yeah, here's the flight plan. This is I took it from their missions, so it's the wrong kind of direction. But basically, we're here at Ulriken. We're gonna fly here through the canyon, either out here or here, Montreux, and then come and land at Payerne. So a very short flight. Not gonna follow, have any ATC or similar. One thing that could go really wrong is the engine management. So this aircraft is fun to fly, but I have never been able to fly for a long time without killing the engine somehow. And it's very easy to kill the engine with, well, you can either, give too much thrust too fast, or you're keeping it at too kind of high, Well, actually, it's not about the RPM. It's about the temperature jet, and this shows the exhaust temp. So it's it's actually a bit lower than the core temp, which is the key. So yeah, something to keep in mind. Just a FYI. And I'm gonna turn on the avionics. Most of the switches are simulated, not all of them though. So keep that in mind. If you want, or you need to turn off or turn on. It says APU. I guess auxiliary, but maybe I would call it a GPU or a external power unit, something like that. EPU maybe. But yeah, let's see here. I think we have the nav lights here. We'll wait with the pitot. These are the starter switches. We'll put them on. We'll align this one, and then we'll do the same. I tried to do this flight yesterday, but the weather was awful. I couldn't see anything, so I ended up going back here, trying to reorient myself, and then I forgot about the temps, and yeah, it was just failure upon failure. Now no error with the compass, that's good. We can, I think you're supposed to have this pumps on, could be wrong, but I think so. We wanna put this high pressure, let me see, high pressure, yeah, we'll put that on. I'm gonna pull this back. Let's get this spoiler. I think we need to start to get the spoilers up. So just FYI on that. But the way you start it is very simple. We have all the things set up correctly now. Or actually we'll start. I think this is the gun sight. Not really sure how it works, but it's supposed to show up. I've been able to get it to show up at certain times. but not always though, so that's yeah, something to keep in mind. But yeah, you start by just pressing here, and you'll see the kind of RPMs going up. And I think we're on a full load of fuel. Let me though check. Okay, we are a bit lower. But I think this should be fine. I don't think we need more fuel. Because that kind of risks our climb performance. We are already, I would guess, a bit higher than... let me see. This must be the altimeter, right? Yeah. So we're already almost 1.5 kilometers up. 1024, we have that set. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, there we go. Good engine start. The canopy is open. You close it by pressing that. You get rid of the Jeep by removing the starter switches. We can put on the landing lights already. It's gonna be a very short taxi over there, and then we take off. I think that's about it. Oh yeah, the spoilers, and then that I managed to pull out my microphone. Hopefully it works now. But yeah, the flaps, we want to put them on one step down, or two steps. I'm not sure which one is the takeoff one, but let's see. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, I'm adding a bit of thrust. Yeah, we need to be very careful. I do have a tendency to add way too much thrust way too easily. And this one, you can't use the rudders, you have to use differential braking. So that's pretty, and it's very nicely implemented, so I'll give them that. It works as it should. One of the better aircrafts in this regard. So yeah, no nose wheel steering. And there you can see some nice, what we call them, Alp architectural houses. Alp villas, apartment complexes. You can see a bit of similar looking houses in northern Sweden and Finland, specifically the bigger kind of ski resorts. But in terms of scenery, otherwise it's gonna be the Matthias Swiss scenery, so photoreal, and he actually has it both winter and summer modes. Disclaimer though, I'm not sure if Payen or Payerne is actually working with the winter. I only got the summer one working, but it should be fine at the end of the day. This one actually has a pretty cool, reflection, or the mirror. It seems to work pretty well. So So that's actually one of the more, how do you say, good ones I've seen in P3D. But yeah, generally I would say this aircraft belongs in the Hall of Very Good. It's a difficult aircraft to fly. You have to always watch this one, the temps. So far I've failed every time I've flown this one. I'm hoping now, you know, recording this, even though my 2 previous recordings failed. But this time I'm hoping to to succeed. I think the key is to climb relatively quickly in the beginning and then try to level off. And then once you leveled off, you can bring it down slowly, and that way maintain a good balance. Yeah, we don't want to press there, sorry about that. But yeah, let's try to get us turned straight. There we go. I think everything else is set. Let me just think quickly here. Is there anything we're missing? The PETA ones, right? Yeah, let's get that on. Spoilers set. No autopilot, so nothing to care of in that regard. We don't need to set the VHF radio, we can do that once we're up and we feel that it's time to do so. Okay. Let's go. We don't want to be there where the red tape was, so I'm gonna release the parking brake. And we can think around this. But yeah, I'm a bit worried that that was too fast as well. We need to be really careful. Now I didn't go through the story of this aircraft. Basically, it was developed during World War II. I think 1941 it started, 1943 it started flying, and then 1946 it entered into service. A lot of different airlines, basically all over the world. Sweden, Finland, Iraq, UK, I think Ireland, Italy, you know, you name it. And then Switzerland, of course, with their own derivatives like the MK6. Okay, I think we can start taking off. There we go. I think we can bring the gear up. So we want to bring that pretty quickly. And let me keep so we don't... And we can go to flap 0. We want to continue climbing. At least for some time. And let me check what's that blinking thing. Okay, did I forget anything? Pompe regla. Oh yeah, maybe we don't want to keep that on. Otherwise, so that's something to keep in mind. The heat is, or the temperature for the exhaust is looking pretty fine. We are climbing now, so that's good. Looking very lovely. Much better now. I also tried actually to do or I loaded up and then, you know, everything looked like, you know, there was fog everywhere, but it seems to have just kind of disappeared because I had to do some things, so I paused the sim, or then when I came back it disappeared. So that was pretty good timing, to be honest. Could also be that it just, you know, updated MEDAR with some larger changes. Okay, still looking good. The temperature is fine. I'm gonna continue to try and get us to climb as much as possible. If the engine shuts on us, we do want to find somewhere to land. Hopefully we don't have to ditch. I really want to be able to see at least one flight through with this aircraft, because it's quite fun. And let's trim a bit. That should hopefully help, so I don't need to pull on the yoke or the joystick as much. Okay, that's seemingly good. But yeah, she flies very beautifully. It's a beautiful looking aircraft, and I think we can actually remove the landing lights. We don't need that. But yeah, we're basically following this valley path, and then let's see what the next steps will be. I'm actually just quickly bringing it up so I can see the map myself. Okay, looking pretty okay in terms of temps. We've been able to to climb quite a bit, and I think it helped a bit to that I kind of started it and actually didn't fill up with fuel, because I think when I've tried to do this with too much fuel, it's too hard to climb. Okay, so I'm gonna bring down the RPMs just a tiny bit. I feel like we are high enough. We need to compensate though with higher trim, so it's a bit it's not always that easy to keep it steadily flying. But yeah, look at this. It looks absolutely beautiful. The Alps, very nice. And I think the pilot's mesh helps a lot actually. Even though I can't use the highest setting, because that messes with some of the FS Dream Team airports, it still looks pretty good. I think I have like 5 meters, but I could get it down to like 1 or 2. And I think it makes a bit of a difference, so technically I should try. And the setting I'm talking about, that I'm just gonna quickly show you guys so you know if you wanna tweak, is never mind. I actually have it on 1 mesh resolution. Okay, so I've probably forgotten to change that. Luckily I rarely fly to some of these other ones. Okay, the temperature is still looking fine. Let's remember it's only the exhaust one, so it could be that we are on the limit, on the cusp. So I want to bring it back a tad bit more. We might not have to climb that much more. We're a bit over 3,000 meters. Let me actually check. Is there like a cruise altitude? Let me see. DH Vampire cruising altitude. I don't think like they have that right. Okay, they had a service ceiling of 12 to 13,000 meters. And it even reached up to 18,000. Okay, that's crazy. So we can still climb quite a bit. Let's try to avoid that though. Because I do wanna avoid a flame out. But it's looking pretty good now. One thing also to mention, I tried to add PBR to this aircraft, wouldn't work. Dead end. Or it worked, but you got this weird little small little ball thingy here on the outside, which I think is the kind of the external, the APU that it was called, but I guess the GPU in essence. But so yeah, if you're fine with flying, I don't think I could see it from the virtual cockpit, but from the outside perspective it was there. So that was a bit annoying. I hate those kind of small bugs. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Let me see, I don't want us to descend, I want us to maintain altitude to the extent possible. Okay, but looking very nice, the weather now. Must have just been temporary kind of mist that I had there before I started, but it was a bit weird. But it's crazy though how, you know, I think when I moved from Switzerland I was like 4 years old, 5 years old, but I have no memories of the Alps. I can remember certain other things, you know, just small kind of flickers. My first memories are from Switzerland, but yeah, that's about it. Like dropping a ball, running down a street, you know, very basic things. Okay, let's check the temp. I'm a bit worried because it is within the range, right? It should be fine, but I don't trust it. I'm just afraid, you know, one push wrong and then we're screwed. One thing we can put on right is the oxygen. I guess that's how it works. And I'll show you also the and why we don't keep it open otherwise. So now we're connecting to the, I think it's called Nafu, something like that. So yeah, you're getting these kind of call outs in, I think it's in French. Let me see what it says about those. So yeah, you have to pass a certain point cited as the initial point in order to get the GCA one. So we'll remove this because we don't, I don't think we have any use of listening to that, even though it does, I guess, add a bit to the immersion. Still looking fine. I'm gonna decrease tiny amount. We don't want to be here in the red band. Don't know why there is one here specifically, but this should be fine. Temps, exhaust wise are still looking good. It makes this aircraft though a lot of fun to fly in the sense that you have to plan for that sort of things, right? Or think about that. You're just not, you know, kind of flying in a vacuum and everything will work as it should. We need to, I'm trying to think. We need to be a bit observant on when to turn. So we're looking for, let me check what it's called. Kanal Stockalper. Is that the, not the river, but the small little, well, I guess you can call it pond, but lake, I guess is the correct term. Okay, still looking fine. We're still climbing, so maybe we can trim out a bit, see if we can get it to hold somewhat stable at this altitude. I don't feel like I need to climb too much more. Yeah, here we have a bit of a turn. I think I know which one this is. I'm actually, I think, gonna open Google. No, what I'll do is I'll open it on my my Samsung tablet. That one will be better, because then I can have a look at it without interrupting the nice sounds. Or nice and nice, but I think they sound pretty good. Let me see, Earth, Google Earth. Okay, we are loading in. Untitled project will work. We'll zoom in here where we're at. And what we saw to the right was a bit of a river. And I think I know which one it was. So we are above, maybe somewhere around Luke. Vaden maybe. And yeah, we're gonna be flying into a bit of a cloud layer. I'm gonna turn a bit to the left. Let's see how long we stay in that, which should be fine. We had the Rindenhorn and let me see any other interesting mountains to our right. Nothing specific. What do we have to our left? Swashorn, Grand Combine, Matterhorn. We actually had that to our left. It should be kind of, not sure how tall it is though, so do we see it if we get out of this cloud? Hopefully soon enough. Well, yeah, there's supposed to be Matterhorn, and you have Mont Blanc as well actually. So I think the tallest one, right? We should also be able to see that soon enough. But I think that's on the French side, right? But is that maybe... Yeah, it doesn't look too good. The Alps look better during the summer. I prefer the photoreal then. They don't look bad now. They probably kind of look like this in real life from a distance, right? But not as nice. There's not that many pretty colors, right? But yeah, still, I mean, this is so different from Sweden or Finland, which are quite flat countries. Well, Sweden a bit less so if you go to the north western side, but yeah, otherwise pretty flat. The Ice Age destroyed our mountains, unfortunately, or at least gave them one hell of a pounding. Okay, let's see. Are we now? We're still climbing. That's interesting. We're almost coming up on. Let me check. 16,000 feet. That's interesting. Wow. And the temp? It's okay, but we're a bit on the edge. Let me see if I do like a tiny trim movement. Something like that. Let's see if it stabilizes. Yeah, look at that. What's that airport? That actually looks very interesting. That must be let me see here what the map says. The map will tell us the truth. Is that Martigny or? No, it must be sooner. Here we go. This is Aéroport de Sion. Wow, and Google Earth is so cool, right? Because you get the 3D image. Is this a commercial airport? It looks more like a general aviation. So we're not supposed to turn yet. We could technically turn here. I think the route was stating, and maybe we should actually turn here. I mean, we could see Mont Blanc otherwise and these stuff, but maybe that will save us a bit of time since we have a bit less fuel than I thought we would have. So we'll take the shortcut. Now let's see if there's a bit of lag. Let me just check why. Sometimes it's because, you know, just flying here across the mountains can be a bit heavy on the system. But it's, yeah. But I know some aircrafts like the Stratocruiser and same with the MD-11, right? They had some bug with going above 20,000 feet with some of the special effects. That was a bit weird. But let me see this airport. Sion Airport. Okay, that's a Swiss one. And then let's do P3D, see if we have anyone. And we do have one. And it's MailSoft. And this seems to be a, based on what I'm seeing, general aviation. I hate when they don't give a proper. It looks pretty good though, the Sion. Let me turn a bit left here. But yeah, this is the one if you're interested. So a pretty nice looking airport. A bit expensive though. I think a lot of these P3D airports are way too expensive. Yeah, if we consider their quality. But oh well. Okay, still going somewhat strong, or trying to at least. We are gonna be coming down around Montreux. We can actually then kind of immediately turn right actually if we wanna get to the point for the Payenne in order to do the GCA thing. The question I have though is what's the weather like? Gonna trim a bit further down. Temp is looking fine. Okay, the weather, there's not that much wind, at least not here. Could change once we get a bit further down, but something to keep in mind. Is the sun coming down? What time did I put in the sim? Oh no. We are gonna, I think, cheat a bit. So I'm just gonna apply. I don't want it to become night because of the bad night lighting with this aircraft. So I'm just quickly gonna pause here whilst we readjust the time in the sim. Okay, there we go. So yeah, it looks, it actually the sim, you can see it loaded kind of again the clouds as well. But yeah, the Alps look a lot better in these kind of, how would say, lighter day conditions. But yeah, good. I don't know how I managed to forget that. There's always, you know, when you're setting up like a flight for YouTube or something, there's always something you're forgetting. It's a bit annoying, but you know, it is what it is. Can't do too much about it. Fuel is looking, I'm not sure if you can hide this one. Don't think so, but petrol, the litres, it's looking fine. We might not have all the fuel that we want, but we'll be able to at least land at Payerne. So we're gonna go here. Here we have the Lake Le Mans. That sounds a lot better than what the hell that name was in the Swissmilsim Canal Stockalpe. Interesting. Maybe that was just a wrong classification. But yeah, you don't also want to go too low. I think they list a bit kind of their different what you want and what you can and what you shouldn't do. Let me check actually this here. So they have the time limits on engine power. So here there are 3 possibilities causing in-flight engine shutdown, a completely reduced power level descent, 15 minutes, flame out. An inverted flight for more than 15 seconds will cause a loss of fuel supply and therefore a flame out. And then closing the high pressure valve will also result in a flame out. So let's not touch this, whatever stupid things I do. But yeah, you can see here it kind of ends the nice winter scenery because that's France. And I think even here, right, we can see the difference from France to Switzerland. So yeah, it's nicer to fly during the summer when everything is summer. I guess technically I could also just check the file and see if you could only do summer, but I kind of like having some place where you can land with photo reel in winter. Looks pretty cool. Okay, so what are we talking about now? Let me see. Don't allow. Can we use measurements? So Montreux. Okay, we want to add a point. Move the maps and add. We can do in kilometers, right? Or maybe we have nautical miles actually. Now we don't want to have a point there, so I don't know why. Okay, add first point. Okay, we have to add it like that. Okay, it's not the best system. Okay, nautical miles from Montreux to Payerne. We're talking 21 nautical miles. It's not a long distance. And if we're then talking about how to do the approach, it's gonna be around 1,700 if we're doing the straight in from the Nafu point. Let's bring that. I want to see if there's any different sounds we're gonna. And I think we're looking pretty fine. I want to get a bit of a visual. Because I think we want to kind of turn with the mountain side, the end of the mountain side. And I think we might want to start descending actually. So I'm just gonna get it below this red. There we go. I'll start turning a bit to the right. Can't really see too much. We're getting a lot of stuttering now. Let me check actually. We don't have AI ships. I think it might be running though in the background, so... Oh no, it's not actually. Maybe it crashed on us already. You never know, right? Okay, look at this. We don't have the best weather. Something to keep in mind. That's another river. I think that's... let me check what that one is called. Does it have a name? Actually, I don't want to measure stuff anymore. I want to... Lake de la Gruyere. Okay. That must be it. And then to the right of it we have a smaller lake. Lake de Montesolvens. Okay. So we have turned maybe a bit earlier. So we're not really... I think there's some mountains on this side as well. But that's fine. We're gonna fly up through the E27 highway, Fribourg. So a bit towards Bern, actually. Which is okay, I would say. Now, in terms of the runway, we are gonna be landing at, is it 6-7 track? Let me check actually quickly here. I'm just gonna jump out, see if we have Geo Alpes NB overview. No, this is for the Moran overview charts. Not really helping. Maybe it's better to just search for the charts. So let me see. Bayern Airport charts. And this is aerodrome information, but nothing. Well, there is charts on Navigraph. But that's not something we have access to. As poor slobs. Okay, let's see. So we are talking about LSMP. God damn it. Okay, but it's available from another. Let me see. This is Zurich. We don't care about Zurich. We want to see if they have Payerne. And they seem to have it. Payerne approach. They have the stations. Do they have any charts? Nothing that I can see. So we might have to wing this a bit. And let me check quickly. Okay, so the waypoint we are looking at, Nafu. No, here's the one for Payerne. The entry point is 1,800 meters. CGS angle of 3.7 degrees. And it's northwest of Payerne. I think we can do that. We have quite a bit to descend though. So let's trim down. And let's try to reorient ourselves a bit. I'll use Google Maps for that. La Berra, is that what we're looking here at the right? Probably not. We still have a lake. This could technically though be the end of the one we already saw, right? The Gruyere, right? So I'm pretty sure it's that one. Because it then continues up. No, actually it's probably not Gruyere, it's another one. The Schiffensee. So we're very close actually now to... let me see, did I lose that out of sight? No, it's still there. Some weird frame rate loss though. Not sure why we're getting that. Oh yeah. I think I know, I might have covered chase plane, but that shouldn't have an effect. Let's see a bit how this develops. There is of course, you know, a risk maybe with these new airports, you know, something incompatible that creates a bit of a problem. And that's probably the... No, actually, that must be much further. That's the BLRC. Which maybe isn't too wrong. Let me actually check here now. We might want to actually go here and turn left. That would get us kind of close to the point, to the entry point. And in order to get the entry one, we want to be at 16. We're still way too high though. We have fuel, sufficient amounts at least. Gonna throttle back just a tiny bit. Now we'll turn a bit here. We now at least know where we're at. We can see the nice Alps in the distance. One thing could be that I increased the range, right? That could maybe explain the bad FPS with the clouds. I did do a bit of a giant increase in that regard. Could be interesting to try and actually see what happens if we tone it down. It's always hard to say though, because it's not always having an effect. But yeah, because we have the minimum surface, or the maximum surface visibility to 323, and the clouds maximum 150, right? So that could be playing a bit of a trick on us. I'll need to do some testing on that. But it could just also just be, you know, loading into things. Maybe this one isn't as optimized. Okay, we're still flying a bit too high. Let's continue dropping down. As long as we have the BLRC in our view, we're fine. I can follow that one and use that as a kind of entry point to get to Cayenne. And we would be landing at runway 23. Oh. What can you see here? I think we have the fog here. It's probably just moved a bit. So this could make things very interesting. What are they saying? They're saying overcast at 1,000 feet. Jesus. Okay. We could be solemnly screwed here. I need to get down a lot. Still about 2,000 feet. We are descending, but not that fast. Yeah, we can see the clouds, right? If we get the approach info correctly, maybe we're fine. And what was it? 226 is hopefully the course that we'll get. Let me see here. That's compass. Set heading. So something like 2. Something like that maybe. We're still too high. Gonna throttle a bit back. Not too fast. Not too slow. Here we have pretty good visibility over the PLRC. Okay, let's see, we're coming down here. And what we wanna do is continue kind of on this track. I think it's gonna be fine. Because there we have the Myrtensee. And the airport is gonna be kind of in the direction we're flying now. We're a bit too high still, unfortunately, so let's trim down. And I'm gonna pull back the throttle a bit. Not too much though. Our speed is, we're flying pretty fast, over 500 kilometers per hour. But yeah, we do wanna get down. And we're actually now, well, kind of at the right altitude. Have we heard anything though? Oh yeah, that's the thing for the gun sight. Could I have missed it? Maybe I did fly. I might have missed the point. Okay, let's see. Now we've been descending like crazy actually, so I'm gonna push up a bit. Because we are gonna overspeed. But good in the sense actually that we get the visual. That might be important actually, so let's try to get that without crashing. Because it doesn't seem like we're gonna get the approach. We might have been too fast. Oh yeah, that was me pushing the brake. And here we are at kind of the end of the Myrtensee. We don't want to climb though, because that's gonna get us immediately out of any visual. So let's turn right here. And we can do this to kind of slow down. Let's see though. I want to actually find the Myrtensee again. So that's the kind of only waypoint I'm aware of. So that must have been the outer marker though. That's a good sign. Okay, here we go. So this is the Myrtensee. So what we're gonna do is fly and then turn left and swoop back in. And let's see how that will go. Speed-wise, it's looking okay. Maybe a bit on the lower end now, actually. Don't want to climb. But I don't want to descend like crazy either. It's a bit of a... You know, you gotta be a bit careful. And it's kind of easy to stall with this bird as well. So can't go completely crazy either. Okay, and what was the, like 226, something like that? So something like this should work. Do we have any visual? There we have the runway though. That's good. We know what we can aim for. I think we can start dropping some flaps. Maybe even the landing gear, right? Let's get that down. Okay, we're getting the outer marker. Now let's see if we can find the runway lights. Worst case scenario, we have fuel, we can just do some sort of circling maneuver. Yeah, let's see. Still looking fine with the thrust. I'm a bit worried though, I can't see the highway. And that's a pretty clear kind of mark where we're supposed to be. I wish I had the cars now. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna actually try to get us up a bit. I'm gonna decrease the flaps. We have quite a bit of thrust. Let me remove the landing gear. Let's go up again. Try to get a better visual. I think we've been flying a bit too far to the right. Yeah, we're very close to stalling. Oh, there's the runway though. So maybe we can just maybe we can come in and land. Let's do that. Why not? It's a sign from above. We found it for a reason. A good reason.
Okay for Bayonne, Quebec.
Ah!
2 miles from touchdown. Heading
Okay.
230.
230.
Rate of descent 05. Decision altitude 800 meters.
Okay, so at least we got the call out.
Speed down, flaps take off, speed white.
Okay. Let's see here.
1/2 mile from touchdown, landing okay, Quebec terminated.
Come on. Yeah, okay. We'll take that. That worked. And cool to also see the callouts working, so it was just me going a bit wrong about it. Okay, let's don't know if we have any sort of parachute or I guess you don't need it. It's not that fast, this aircraft. Pretty fast, but you know, nothing compared to the more modern jets. And yeah, you can see here, you know, there's snow, so there is still a winter layer, so I'm not sure how I guess you just need to activate that somehow. Let's just taxi here, I think. And maybe we can try to get back. I'm actually gonna check how it looks on the map. Because there might be some cool... yeah, you're supposed to have these bunkers. That makes sense. So we're kind of down. We went kind of far down the runway actually. There wasn't a lot left of us for us to use in terms of the runway. What else did we forget? Landing lights. Okay, so there was some oversights. But okay, pretty nice just to see that at least, you know, it works. I might do this flight again. I just need to work a bit. I might actually not stop the engines, etc. What I'll do is I'll, you know, just stop the replay and then I'll, you know, quickly take off and try to see if I can find the culprit for the bad FPS. But I know I've had the same issue flying in around Lausanne. It could be also that it's kind of loading the mesh from the Alps. And I think, as you can see on my settings, I had failed to put the right one. I think you want to keep it at 5. Something along those lines. And let me actually check. I think it was Dallas mesh setting P3D. And let me see which one. FS stream. So I'll have to have a look at that. But yeah, look at this place though. Some nice aircraft hanging there. Looks very familiar, right? So it's pretty cool scenery, this one, for being freeware. Yeah, it should be at 5 meters, so that's the problem. And basically what I would do then is go to general. So that's the only thing you need to change. It doesn't really matter. I haven't noticed a difference. But it will give you a bit of a boost in terms of performance. I'm just going to do that in case it helps a bit. I'm going to pause and I'll restart in a jiffy. There we go. Let's see. Can't really notice any difference on the ground. It's because you don't have to load anything, right? There's no, I guess, tiles loading in, etc. But you can see it's a pretty nice military scenery in terms of, you know, you have trucks, you have things happening. It's much better, for example, than the Druzveki, what's it called, the Andrews airbase, which looks very empty in comparison. Let's turn here and check if we can just put this somewhere. Might not be any nice parking spots. Okay, there seems to be some parking spots. Maybe we can just pick the first one here. One interesting thing is I didn't use the spoilers at all. That could have been an option, right? To kind of brake quickly. But yeah, better. Alright, I don't think you have any issues with them. I think maybe that's the... Because I've been flying the Milovis Phantom a bit, hoping to featuring that on my channel. But I think that one has, you know, sometimes this is the slats that get stuck. So yeah, maybe I'm being overly cautious with using flight controls that I don't need to use. And yeah, to shut this one down, I can't say I know for sure, but I think what you need to do is shut it just like that, right? I don't think there's any kind of other button that would do the trick. And now I said that I was gonna do the testing after this, but I'll look into that at a later point. Not sure there's much else I can do. But yeah, it could be this scenery, right? It's there's a lot of, you know, cars, etc. A lot of things to load in. So it could be that that's playing a trick on us. But yeah, not much else then. We've managed to land. We had an okay-ish flight, and the video will be about 1 hour long, so that's pretty good. We'll jump back and check our landing. Maybe we can do 380. Yes, we were definitely a bit too low when we came in here. But yeah, you can see a very nice scenery. Will look very nice in the summer. Or if I manage to fix the problem with the with it being summer when it's winter. I think you can change that in the configuration, but for some reason I wasn't able to do that because I moved it. I didn't want it as a XML add-on, so that could be what's kind of ruining it, but oh well. Okay, let's see. Yeah, did we? Yeah, there we throttled down. Hey, look at that. Landing was pretty good. Approach was pretty horrendous. Not really at all doing it correctly, but didn't want to take any chances. I haven't used, to be honest, the approach feature that's included with this aircraft for Payerne and Dubendorf, so now that I know kind of how it works, I think I could do this a bit better, but I would still, I think, need visual the first few times, so I can just, you know, plan around that, see where I'm at. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Nothing too extraordinary, but was fun making it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. And yeah, otherwise, until next time. Thank you again for watching, and bye bye.